On this week's GTA 6 o'clock, GTA holiday snaps, where are the screenshots, and is user-generated content changing for GTA 6? It's all here on this week's GTA 6 o'clock. Hello and welcome to episode 35 of GTA 6 o'clock. I am JJ and there's actually no one joining me in the studio this week because Dan is still on holiday. So that does mean that we're going to bring you a shorter episode this week because honestly you don't want to listen to me ramble on for 40 minutes. So we've had a week off. What did we miss? Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say not much, but more on that a bit later. Let's talk about holidays. So yes, we've had a week off, but while one of us was presumably sipping cocktails in the sun, I was actually away working on another project. And while I did get these lovely shots of the LA mountains and channeled my inner Michael energy by sitting by this pool, I was actually working on our future game show showcase, which is due to air on August 21st. Now, why should you guys care about this listening to a GTA 6 podcast? Because it was announced yesterday that it's being hosted by none other than Ned Luke, Michael DeSanta from GTA 5, and Alex McKenna, who is Sadie Adler from Red Dead Redemption 2. And in fact, we've put together a little trailer that we can show you right now.
Well, howdy, folks. I'm Alex McKenna, and I played the no-nonsense outlaw Sadie Adler in Red Dead Redemption 2.
And I'm Ned Luke, a.k.a. Michael DeSanta from Grand Theft Auto 5. You know, the lovable rogue.
Lovable?
Wow, in his own way. Anyway, if you haven't heard, we're hosting a future game show at Gamescom presented by Sid Meier's Civilization 7.
Now, we're gonna crack open the vault and show you guys some of the hottest trailers and deepest dives.
Including, but not limited to,
Greedfall 2,
Spine,
Exoborn,
and Civilization 7, of course.
Of course. It will be in and out in 90 minutes, and you'll be the richer for it.
So join us on August 21st, 10 p.m. CEST to see it all go down live.
And maybe set a reminder on YouTube so that you don't miss it.
Hey, you forget 1,000 things every day, pal. Make sure the future game show isn't one of them.
So yeah, that show's going to be a lot of fun and you'll be able to watch it on the Future Game Show YouTube channel. We'll put a link in the description. You can head over there now, hit the remind me button, and then you'll get a reminder when that event goes live. Now, before everybody gets carried away, does this mean there's going to be some GTA or Red Dead news in the show? Well, let me exclusively reveal that no, there won't be. This is because, I mean, we all know how Rockstar works, how their marketing strategy works. They're very unlikely to turn up with any show, let alone the one that we are producing. They have their own plan. They're going to do things to their own timeline. And actually, we can talk a little bit more about that later as well. But the show is going to be brilliant. There's lots of world premieres in there, lots of exclusive trailers. We're putting things together right now, and it's looking really great. So even if you just come along to see Ned and Alex, you should also get some great game trailers that should tide you over to the release of GTA 6. But as an aside, what I did do while I was out there was, well, firstly, take this picture, which is brilliant. That's me and Ned hanging out. But also we had the hosts sit down and chat to each other, which was actually a really fun discussion. Because you guys have been following us for so long and have waited so patiently while we had a week off, we put together an exclusive audio clip from that video before it airs later this month, which is Ned discussing one of the lines from GTA 5.
I can tell you what my least favorite is.
Tell me.
You forget 1,000 things every day. Make sure this is one of them.
Hey.
I hate that line.
Really?
Hate it. I didn't want to do it. I know it, but I didn't want to do it. I thought it was the dumbest line ever. I kept trying to change it, over and over and over again. I tried to change it, and then Rod comes up and says, Ned, they want you to say the line exactly as written. And, I was just like, yeah, the line sucks, man. He goes, trust me, this is the line.
I can see his face doing
yeah,
that.
and they were right. That's why they're a rock star and I'm not. Forget 1,000 things every day, pal. How about you make sure this is one of them? God, I hear that in my nightmares.
It is a really good line, though.
It is.
So there you have it. That iconic line nearly didn't happen. Now, there's loads more to come on that front, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we should be able to bring you an exclusive interview with Ned Luke himself in the very near future. So, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter at GTAVOclock, and, just send us a friendly email, gtaviclock@gmail.com. Okay, let's move on to those screenshots, or disappointingly, the lack of screenshots. So we, or maybe just me, were hoping for possibly some new screenshots this week ahead of the Take-Two investor call tomorrow, but all in all, now that seems quite unlikely, unless, of course, they have just come out and you are listening to this while looking at them, going, I really hope that the GTA 6 O'Clock are going to analyze these and they can do a special episode on it. We absolutely will do a special episode on it if they do get released at most likely probably just before this episode has aired. If you're listening to this right now and they're not out, they're probably not coming out before the investor call, which means they're probably not coming out until later this year. However, it is not all disappointment because, as we've mentioned before, although the cadence for releasing these new screenshots around now would fall in line with the GTA 5 and the Red Dead 2 marketing timelines, I guess the good news is both those games got delayed, and the announcement of the delay was coupled with the screenshots. Now, we're obviously not expecting GTA 6 to be delayed, especially with the release window that they've got right now of fall 2025, which is reasonably broad, and I don't think they're going to narrow that down in this investor call. But it's worth noting that publicly GTA 6 hasn't been delayed. First of all, it was a 2025 release date, and now it's fall 2025. We only say that it may have been delayed internally because of the analysis of the investor calls and where all of that money was being moved around in their financial reports. But actually, publicly, it's all systems go. It's still 2025. Now it's fall 2025. The investor call is tomorrow. We're not really expecting any news from that, really. It will be interesting, of course, and there will be questions about GTA 6, but really we're expecting everything is going according to plan type of response from any kind of questions that relate to the development or the progress or that kind of thing when it comes to GTA 6. If there are any bombshells, of course, we'll put together a special episode to cover it right here. But right now, I think we're going to have to carry on as normal, and it might be that the next drop is possibly a trailer towards the end of the year, which would mark, I guess only 9 months before the release of the game. So once we get to the end of the year, fingers crossed, everything will start ramping up. The marketing wagon will have very much left the station. There'll be lots more meat on the horse and a lot of other analogies that I won't make right now and wait for Dan to come back and add to. And finally then, the big news of the week is around user-generated content and what this might mean for GTA 6. This all comes from a report from a website called GTA Focal, which was then picked up by a lot of other GTA and GTA 6 sites. This was also sent to us by Toby Phillips and Carl Stanton and a bunch of other people, so thank you all for sending this over via email. That's gtaviclock@gmail.com, and on Twitter at gtavoclock. What I will say before we get into these claims is they are being stated as being, and I quote, from a group of people close to it share their story with us. Now, this phrasing is tricky because obviously you have to protect those sources sometimes, but it also leads to not being able to verify these statements fully. So for now, I'm going to say let's err on the side of caution here. Spun out of this are claims that, another quote, Rockstar is allegedly working on their own modding engine called Rome, as well as a project that aims to add in-depth user-generated content into GTA Online, which is reportedly coming this fall. The article goes on to mention that in early July, TEDS 2 uncovered a new file within the GTA Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC, indicating that Rockstar may be developing a public mission creator that would enable players to create and engage with user-created content. This is highly likely connected to the new Rockstar project, which, according to sources who like to remain anonymous, is expected to be integrated into GT Online later this year. Both projects are being developed internally at Rockstar, not by the 5M team. Reports indicate that a significant number of workers are dedicated to the project, with early discussions surfacing just under a year ago. It is speculated that the project may serve as a conversion tool from 5M to the Rockstar modding platform. The article continues, "We can only speculate that it will be Rockstar's approach to bringing UGC to all its consumers." Now, let's break this down, because there are so many red flags from a reporting perspective here. Phrases like highly likely, according to sources, reports indicate, it is speculated, are all phrases which suggest some truth, but aren't backed up by anything. Now, it's not to say that they're not accurate and correct, it's just that it's very hard to back them up when you're using phrases like that and aren't identifying any of the source material other than screenshots, which could, let's be honest, be generated by anybody. But what can we take from this? Well, we've discussed the 5M integration on previous shows, and I'm pretty sure that role-playing and other things are going to be brought over to GTA 6. So I think what's best for us to do here is to collect some thoughts from existing 5M community members, of which we've been in touch with a few already, so we should get some info on that pretty soon. And now that this has moved on, put all those things together into an episode and report back in the next few weeks, possibly even with a couple of, well, 1 or 2 interviews from somebody within the 5M community who can actually say what this all might mean for players who maybe haven't experimented with role-playing and 5M before, and just give us the lowdown on exactly what kind of things this could mean for GTA 6. So coming up in future episodes, more on that Ned Luke interview and hopefully an extended chat with him, an analysis on the Take-Two investor call, which, as we all know, is due tomorrow, and more on that 5M situation. And of course, much more insight from us on GTA 6, including analysis on speculation, rumours and reports. So subscribe to us, hit the button, hit the bell, follow us on Twitter at GTA 6 o'clock, drop us an email with anything that you think is worth covering, or any questions, comments, or concerns that you have. So stay tuned and join us again next week for another episode of GTA 6 o'clock.